We back, hitting you with the Juggernaut Punch, New Gaming Order. This is Alex Lexus, New Gaming Order staff, for segment number 2 of our podcast. Where I picked a topic in reference to the latest NPD. Obviously Sony, the PS4 is going to continue to outsell the Xbox One, right? It's nothing new. Why is, GeekWire.com, a couple other, sites keep posting the same stuff? Like, now, to me, if you know what the outcome is going to be, why keep reporting it? There's other news. It's like, okay, the latest NPD, Sony outsells Microsoft yet again. Okay, we already know what's going to happen. Why is this constantly revisited? To me, I'm just... It baffles my mind, but I just wanted to give Demizzle the floor. What do you think? I mean, it's not a specific topic where it's like, hey, it's specific numbers. My thing is, why is this constantly reported if it doesn't change?
Well, you have to remember that even though fans are the main ones that eat up console news, industry insiders also use the NPD numbers as a barometer to plan out what they're going to do in the future. So just like, it's not only news for us, it's news for them. That's why it's being reported. Like, we're not the only audience this is for.
Yeah, but my thing is, it's just, I don't get it. It doesn't change. It's like, what are they expecting? Like, okay, yeah, all
right, let me give you a prime example. I'll put this into real world analog. Right now, like, for people who are not in the United States that may listen to and watch our podcast, we're going through election season. And the news story every night pretty much is Donald Trump is the front runner. Donald Trump's rallies have been getting intense. Donald Trump is a racist. This has been reported pretty much for like
how many months?
This has been going on for like the last year. So you would be questioning, like, why do they keep showing this? And if this is what's been like the standard for like the last year or so, why do they keep reporting this? Well, you have to remember that we're not the only audience that's watching. Someone new to the scene may be watching. Someone who's making moves may be watching, that may want to make their decisions based off of this information. So not everybody goes to the same news source to get their news. So that's why it's printed in multiple places. So that's why this news is, even though you may not care for it, it's important to somebody other than the people who buy consoles. It's important to industry insiders. It's important to people who make
and investors, like
it's important to people who invest money in these. It's important to people who want to make money off of their investments of these companies, because, like, for instance, like, if I want to invest in Microsoft, even though like everything else they do is doing pretty well, I might have cause for concern about their console numbers, and it may not be a smart move for me as an investor. So it's important news to somebody.
Okay. And you know what? That's the point. And there was a reason why I decided to take that position on it, when a lot of folks were giving me shit on the show about, oh, Alex, this and that. Some of the topics and news that we covered was important to somebody. You may not have been feeling what we were saying and feuding with us and all that other shit, you know what I mean? But Demizzle hit it right on the head, you know what I mean? You may not like that we cover a lot of Microsoft stuff, or we rip on Nintendo, or not in favor of Sony. Well, this is, I mean, speaking personally, but it's news is news, you know what I mean? But I would say, seeing it from the standpoint of the people who give me a lot of shit for New Gaming Order, it's like, okay, I can somewhat understand. It's almost as if they're like beating a dead horse, so to speak. But again, the investors need to know that, yeah, my stocks are doing good and what I invested in, and But moving forward, because I don't want to spend too much time on this, because we have better topics in the shoot. But Kasumi, what are your thoughts? Like with the constant coverage of the same known outcome every month with the MPD, and to speed it up, anybody can jump in there as they see fit without cutting somebody off. All right, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with it being known is really not known. You know what I'm saying? One month it could switch. I think it was a couple random months that Xbox One that I don't think really anybody saw coming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't forget which months they were, but
Oh, November. It was certain titles that came out, like Halo. What was that? Was it like Fallout, Tomb Raider? There was like 3 months that they edged them out, but not much. You know what I mean? Because the
yeah,
following month they got swamped all over again. So.
yeah. So I mean, it could change. So I mean, they don't the places where I see that it's news. It's not like a
Mm-hmm.
big deal. Like they put maybe a minute video talking about it's only one PD again. This is the umpteenth month in a row, and they just leave it at that. I don't really see a whole lot of people really putting a whole lot of focus into it.
Uh huh.
But I mean, it don't bother me too much. Like I said, as long as they don't take too much time with it, as long as they don't make it this big event, or just like you said, it's not really too much news, but it's not a
Mm-hmm.
given.
Yeah, because the thing is, 9 out of the last 10 months, Sony has been outselling. So it's like, okay, like to me, I don't know. I just think it's not much news that, or if okay, they could cover it. Don't get me wrong. Everybody is entitled to hear about certain things, but at the level that I see it on some sites, it's like, okay, is it like it, I don't know. I'm trying to find the words for it, but let me give Gokin the floor. Like I said, anybody that wants to chime in, you can chime in, and then we'll start wrapping up into the next topic.
Yeah, well, I'll keep it short for you then. Like you said, it's the same thing over again. At this point, we don't care. We just want games.
Yes, yes, and that's where I was coming from with it. Because it's like, okay, why are they reporting this where you got all these titles coming out? It's like, okay, focus more on for me, like Gears of War, Street Fighter 5, the updates for March, season 3, KI. We already know what's happening. We already know the state of where the console positions are. What I mean? Hell, you got the NX that's supposed to be dropping some news in a couple months, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
that's all I'm
I
waiting
mean, that just me. That just me.
for. Yeah.
But anybody else wanted to add before we take our intermission?
Man, look, this whole PS4 versus Xbox is old. They still trying to kick. Thank you for kicking people while they down. It shows us the character and the nature of what you guys are capable of doing. So you guys are like the Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. So thank you for showing us the true nature of how you guys can be. Give us games and don't F up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If nobody has anything to add, that was just my little thing, like a little excerpt.
Brother Naturals out there listening, fight.
I mean,
Yeah. Go ahead.
my piece to it though is that I mean, like when 360 was like the console that held it down and everything like that. Major Nelson during his podcast, he would explain and he would just do all the number dropping of how well they're doing in sales and everything like that. So it's no real different,
Mhm.
Unfortunately, yeah, Microsoft is not doing too well and everything, where it comes to the investors, they look at these monthly assessments, they look at these sales numbers and productions and everything like that, how much they're shelling out, while how much they're spending to do so, and
Mhm.
is it really a good investment where they should be pushing out these consoles and everything like that,
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
comes to that. Investors look at these values. Sites like this that show monthly assessments and everything they bring it down to layman's terms for people like us, or the common gamer and everything, the casuals per se.
Yeah.
Without all the complicated number dropping,
Mhm.
I think third party companies
Mhm.
IGN or whatever that, they're to the best of my knowledge, they're honest, and they're seeing it from a third person perspective, rather than again Major Nelson or someone from Sony, a representative saying, hey, we're kicking ass and everything like that,
Mhm.
for bragging rights,
Yeah. Yeah.
In the end, it is a competition, and sometimes a company that's doing not too well and everything like that, they kind of have to see these
Mhm.
these this data and everything like that. And hey, they gotta step up their game.
Yeah, and you know the funny thing is, we already know you got those Sony heads that are gonna use this as flame bait or fodder to start a war or a debate. Now, Atlas Rain, he put in the chat, MPD isn't for the common audience though. The MPD is more for the investors. Yes, you're looking at it wrong and should be looking at it as why it's big news. Okay, I understand. The reason why it's important that the PS4 continues to sell well is because hardware was down 23% year over year. Okay.
Yeah, well, from an investor standpoint, I look at those numbers from Sony. PlayStation it's a big part of the business, but it's not their only business, right? So as an investor, I could look at it and be like, oh, now it's time to invest in Sony, but that's not true either. Because if you look at Microsoft as a company and you look at Sony as a company, Microsoft does much better in the market from an investor standpoint than Sony.
Because of the businesses that they're in, the businesses that they're in.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you could look at it that way. But I mean, if you really want to look at it that way from an investment standpoint, Microsoft is better off than Sony. I mean, they have huge businesses, and their cloud and other businesses are expanding at such a fast pace.
Yeah, Sony, what about the movies y'all messed up, man? What the hell?
Oh man,
you can look at all. I mean, if you look at when you look at just the investment piece, I mean, I would invest in Microsoft over Sony, and not based off of video games. Like so, I mean, there's a bigger scope than just.
We're trying to keep it down to just like the gaming.
Yeah, I know, but you know, when you're talking about investing, I mean, there's more to the company than just.
Because Atlas Rain is like they do insurance and medical hardware. You know what I mean? Like there's other things that they do. So, but my thing is, you know, I know on some forums or somewhere there's gonna be some sort of flame bait, and it's just amusing to me. At the end of the day, there's news that I think that I think we're just too connected. Back in the day, it's like, you know, we didn't have the social media where it's like my stuff is better than yours. Well, my company does this, or who cares? Does this have to do with the quality of your gaming experience?
I don't care.
There you go. There you go.
My jokes don't go over. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's my contribution to this segment.
Yes, indeed. All right, so we're gonna go into director's cut mode. So, thank you, Atlas Rain, for you know, adding some content. Now, going forward, like I did last week, and I think the week before, if you're in the chat, you'll actually see it on the stream. So, you know, you could, you know, spread the word, tell your friends you're participating in the show. And hell, maybe we can have you guys as guest personalities, as Shin Raven, as Khalif, as Snake, as Dragon Senpai. That's how we got folks involved in the product, alright? So with that, make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Check us out at Newgamingorder.com. And if you don't, I'm going to hit you with the head crush, bitch. And we'll see you on the next segment. Peace.